Hiya, hiya. Did you get your stimulus check? I got it and I put it here with my recreational drugs. I'm going to pull it out when I need it for that old time friendly service. That's what you get here, boy. Yeah. Did you have one of these boxes when you were smoking weed? I don't know. I got my shirt I'm wearing is the Ryan Seacrest look, where you have the three top buttons unbuttoned so you show that you have a manly chest. And also it's wimpy. That's really the. Is the air conditioning going on now? It always goes on when I speak. You know, it's like going into the men's room, and if you want to hear the president speak, you push that blower to dry your hands, and a speech comes out. Let me talk to you about that for a minute. You know, China, we're kissing them because they're making stuff for us, and we should be making it ourselves. Should have all along never surrendered the idea of being the manufacturers. We gave the copyrights away to China Inc., and we also gave our trademarks away, and we gave them the know-how and the right of passage, and now we're going to them because we like them paying a tariff. Now, wait a minute. Years ago, I had dated a girl. She never told me that she had a venereal disease, which we call it an STD. And so I caught it, and I went to the doctor and got the penicillin, and it was a cure for me back then. Do you think I went back to the girl and said, "Thank you very much for the wonder of penicillin, and I'm so glad you got me to introduce myself to a new doctor, and I just love the whole procedure. Boy, thank you for that experience." Well, that's what we're doing. We got this disease from China. You don't go back to them and thank them for the cure. We don't. This is ridiculous. I mean, you know, the plague. You go the other way when that happens, and you start taking care of yourselves like we're doing right now. You know, each of us are figuring out what we're going to do with our lives on a daily basis. The main thing is that the bird is tweeting. He tweets more than the president. You know, we got a president here that doesn't understand the principle that when you catch something from someone, you avoid them, ignore them. They're not your friends anymore. They created this, and somebody somewhere along the line thinks it was lab created anyway, and it's germ warfare. Could very well be that. Maybe we made it and we sent it over there. All I know is in Little Italy in New York, which is right next to Chinatown, all right, and both countries have had an enormous, I would say, amount of people dying from the disease of the coronavirus. Now, Little Italy is right next to Chinatown, and when China got all this money from us in the past decade, they kind of bought up a lot of Little Italy. Now, the Little Italy people, we were kind of like, you know, stood there and didn't pay too much attention, except we took the money from China. We did like that, of course. So China goes ahead, and what they've done in an orderly fashion is when the virus hit here, the Chinese people from Little Italy and Chinatown went to China. Then they came back after their visit, and everybody got it. That's what I think happened. That's part of it. And the Italians did the same thing. Plus, the Chinese had a deal in Iran, and they had one in Italy, in a town in Little Italy, where their workers were infected. That's the way it goes. But I think somebody created this thing, and they put it out there on the market. Now, if they could only create the cure as quickly as they did the disease, maybe we can go somewhere and go back to our regular jobs. But I don't like the regular job. I don't like it anyway. I would be just as happy to have a stimulus check and not do anything. Matter of fact, I'm not out of work. This is my work. You're visiting me at my workplace right now. And it may not look like work, but this is what I do for a living. And everybody's got a certain something they contribute to the society. My contribution right now is to aggravate the shit out of everybody that's not doing the right thing. How about that? That's a good job. And it begins with me. You know, I aggravate myself first thing in the morning, and then I pass it on. That's the, what do they call it, Joey duty. Yeah, that's it. I go on Joey duty every day. But for the most part, follow me, and I'll be giving you the honest reports. And I don't know if you appreciate that or not, but we need a sense of history. If you forget where we were, then you're never going to know where we're going. And we were somewhere with this before, you know. This is not an amateur performance. this pandemic. It's not. We've been here with this before, years ago, and we've had a lot of times where people were out of work. We've had a dress rehearsal for many of these things. Read about it. When we were reading, we used to read about it. Now you can get it on your television. And you notice the motion pictures have become more like the video games. And it all started with that. I remember I was living in Harlem. We had Grand Auto Theft. Wasn't that the video game? Well, I was watching it outside my window. I didn't have to go to the TV for it. Anyway, it's a Reynolds Rap, and you follow me on my raps on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, and I'm working my way to TikTok. But I talk too much for TikTok. You know, they want something a little goofier and quicker. They want to see someone do the Irish jig with those guys doing that Irish dance, which is the reason I used to hate Ed Sullivan. We'd have to go sit through that and an opera singer before we got to the Beatles. Hey, that's my past, you know. It's a Reynolds Rap. Penicillin's good.